Welcome back to another class of geography. We are in our fourth chapter and the name of the chapter is urbanization. We are in the last part of this topic, that is last part of this chapter. In this class we are going to discuss what the future holds us for. What is the future of this urbanization? If the number of urban areas increase in the same manner, what will be the problems or what are the problems that we as a society can face or we as a society will go through? Are there any remedies for this increasing urbanization? So all these things we'll try to understand in this class. So from our previous classes, I'm telling the only thing that yes, urban areas are increasing day by day. The people are migrating from rural areas, coming to the urban areas in search of better employment opportunities, standard of living, etc. and etc. etc. Right? So, can the cities, can the urban areas, can they sustain this increasing population? Can they think for a while? This is my area and this area is already filled up. This is a city. Imagine this is a city and the peripheries of the city or the city is already, it has accumulated what it can. It has accommodated the people it can accommodate. Now what? If now again the people will come, if there is again the migration, this city cannot accommodate that people. What is the solution for this? Here the problem is dual. One, the people who are staying in this area are obviously they will also feel exhausted. There is a feeling of inconvenience within the area also, within the limits of the city. And on that, if more number of people are coming and settling in that area, can the city sustain? No doubt it cannot sustain. The city cannot sustain more number of people again and again. If that is the problem, then what is the remedy for this? The remedy for this solution is satellite towns. Problems for this urbanization to an extent we can find in satellite towns. Then what are these satellite towns? Now the word satellite has come up over here. You may be relating it to the satellites we launch, right? That is something related to the satellite towns. Maybe these towns have a direct communication through the satellite. This one is that what you are thinking of? See, satellite towns. These are the smaller municipalities. What do we mean by satellite towns? Satellite towns are smaller they are smaller municipalities adjacent to the main town, adjacent to the main metropolitan area. That is what we mean by satellite towns. These are the towns, these are the smaller municipalities which are adjacent to the nearest metropolitan area. Such towns we call it as satellite towns. For example, see, this is my metropolitan area, MA. This is the metropolitan area. And if there are any towns nearby, these towns we call it as satellite towns. Because these satellite towns, they have their own municipalities. These satellite towns have their own administration, and these satellite towns are very near to the main metropolitan area. So if a town satisfies these two conditions, we call such a town as satellite town. The best example in case of the satellite town we can give is of the Delhi. See, this is New Delhi. This is New Delhi, our national capital, right? This is New Delhi, and the New Delhi has four satellite towns. That is, it has four smaller towns. Which are those? Here is Gurgaon. In the southern part is Faridabad. On the eastern side, Noida and Ghaziabad are there. This is Noida. Here is Ghaziabad. So the New Delhi has four satellite towns. Gurgaon and Faridabad are related to state of Haryana. Noida and Ghaziabad are in Uttar Pradesh. They are in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and these two are in the state of Haryana. And all the four are satellite towns. Now, why satellite towns are essential? What remedies can we get? See, here what happens, the first problem that comes in a metropolitan area in case of New Delhi is, we know that New Delhi has highest density of population. Number of people living per square kilometer is very high in New Delhi. And if another wave of migration, the New Delhi cannot sustain it. So what is the remedy or the solution is? Solution comes in developing the nearby towns. So what the government of India taught us? The government of India, so what are the advantages offered by this satellite towns? The first advantages, you can call it as advantages also, we can call it as a sort of remedy to the increasing urban congestion in the urban areas also. We can also term in that manner. The first, you can see here, if we are going to develop cities around the towns around the main city, then the first logical thing that happens is redistribution of the population. That is the first thing. Redistribution of population, in the sense, redistribution of the population. If these towns were not developed, then all of the population would have to settle in New Delhi itself. They had to settle in New Delhi itself. But now the people have the options according to their convenience. They can choose any of these towns depending on the location or the place of their employment. Nearer to the place of their employment, they can choose the town they want to settle in. So this leads to the redistribution of the population living in the main city. That is the first advantage. Then the second advantage is, whether it is Gurgaon, Faridabad, Noida or Ghaziabad, when these towns started to develop, then the land values in these towns shot up. The land values in these areas increased. Increase of the land value. Before that, the land was easily available in these towns. The value of the land was very cheap, very less. But once the town started developing, once the people started coming and settling over in these towns, the prices of the land shot up. The prices of the land increased. This led to the next is development of many layouts were constructed. So in each layout there was a facility for each layout there is a facility for proper drinking water. All the facilities are available. Facilities like drinking water, sewage, drainage facilities and other amenities which are required. So as and when people started settling over there, in cities like Noida and Ghaziabad, many educational institutions came up. Many residential areas came up. So these towns itself started creating employment opportunities. Else, employment opportunity was restricted only to New Delhi. Now, employment opportunities are also available in these areas, in these towns. Then what else? The main advantage is proper development of transport infrastructure. Whenever a satellite town is developed, it will be having a proper connection with the main metropolitan area. When we talk of Gurgaon, Faridabad, Noida, these towns are connected to New Delhi both by road and metro. It is in the metros, it is just a matter of half an hour that we can reach the New Delhi from Noida, Ghaziabad or from any other. At the most 30 to 45 minutes we can reach the New Delhi. So commutation is not a problem. Proper facilities for transportation are available, whether it is public transport like buses or metro services are available. So this is another major advantage. Then the next advantage is the people who aspire or the people who feel like we cannot live in this congested area. Those people can move out of the main New Delhi town and settle in any of these satellite towns. That option is also available with the people now. Because we all know that Delhi has many problems. Problems related to all the no proper drinking water facilities are not there. So pollution is a major problem in the center, that is in the New Delhi. But problems are comparatively less in these satellite towns. There is a sort of green belt available in these satellite towns which is not available in New Delhi. We don't have the green belt in New Delhi. It is only in some pockets of the New Delhi that green belt is available. In other areas, in rest of the areas of Delhi, green belt is not available. So that green belt, that green space, we can find in these satellite towns. So that is another major advantage. Then the problem of pollution, the problem of stress or any other problem which a person can face in New Delhi is comparatively less in these satellite towns. And another thing, in matters of administration, In the sense, in matters of municipal administration, the satellite towns are not related to the main town, main metropolitan area. Every satellite town has their own municipality, municipal board, municipal corporations, and everything related to the amenities, grievance redressal related to the citizens of that locality are done by the respective municipal offices. They are nowhere related to the municipal administration of New Delhi. So that is the major advantage. Why? Because the problem, the localized problem are resolved by the respective municipal boards or the municipal corporations. So these are, and another problem of traffic is very less. Traffic problem can be resolved with the help of these satellite towns. Why? Why? Because it leads to the redistribution of the population. Else, all of the people had to settle in the main town. Again, problems related to the traffic. Now what happens? Now people are distributed over 4 satellite towns. So traffic congestion will be very less. So these were some of the facilities, some of the advantages which are offered by the satellite towns. So it is not only New Delhi which has the satellite town, even in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Kalyani and Thane are the satellite towns for Mumbai. And when we talk of Kolkata, Kalyan, Rajpur, Sonarpur and Ulubera, these are the satellite towns of Kolkata. And another thing, even industries are coming up in these satellite towns. So again, this is leading to the creation of employment opportunities in satellite towns. So these are some of the advantages offered by satellite town, and yes, satellite towns can solve a certain amount of problems related to the urbanization. I am not saying that satellite towns will resolve all the kinds of problems related to urbanization, but to a minimum extent, problem can be solved with this satellite development of the satellite towns. And the last concept is the concept of smart cities. So this concept of smart cities, particularly in India, we are learning this, or we came across this term when BJP led NDA government started talking of this. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji started the building of smart cities in India. Until then, we were not acquainted with this term. What is this smart city? Can a city be smart, like how we say that person is very smart, that person is very intelligent? So can we relate that to the city? Can cities be really very smart? Who is a smart person? A person is a smart when we can say a person is smart when he can solve his problems very easily. Very easily in the sense in a very logical manner. So can cities be smart? Can development of a new city can give us some smart solutions? So we will try to understand this in our concept of smart city. This is a new concept in urban development, and the concept came into prominence in the year 2014 or 2015 when the smart city concept was launched, when a program was launched by the Government of India. Government of India said that we are going to build 100 smart cities across India. So from there, the journey of smart city started in India. But before that, in countries like USA, Singapore, they had their own smart city concept. They had their own smart cities. By then, they had matured in this. They had already understood the concept. They had built their own smart cities. And one thing, the criteria of building a smart city in New York, or the criteria of building a smart city in Singapore are entirely different. Criteria differ. It's not that what the criteria are there in USA, we must also have the same criteria. That is nowhere written. Why? Because the problems faced by USA are entirely different than the problems what we are facing in India. So the criteria of building a smart cities differ. And smart cities are essential. They can give a solution to the problems of urbanization, because smart cities concentrate on sustainable development. Smart cities concentrate on efficiency. Smart cities concentrate on e-governance. So these are certain uh, policies which are required for us, particularly for India, to overcome the problems related to the urbanization. So, what is this smart city? To overcome the problems of urbanization, as said earlier, the concept of the smart city came into prominence. And I said the parameters are entirely different. Parameters of building a smart city in USA and Singapore are different to what the parameters we have given for ourselves. Governance, planning and public management, use of technology, use of human capital and economy are some of the parameters. Even these parameters are true in case of USA, and governance is important. Governance, public management, that means resolving the problems of the public or providing all the facilities to the public, in the sense citizens of that city at a proper time. That is one thing. Public management, use of technology. Use of technology is the biggest in case of smart city. Smart city is built on concept of technology, use of technology, etc. These are some of the parameters. And cities of smart cities of Tokyo, London, New York, Paris, Singapore are considered smart cities as per these parameters. On the basis of these parameters, they are called as smart cities, wherein governance is very good. Public management. Solutions are found through use of information technology. So, do we have these parameters in our concept of smart city? Yes. We have these parameters. We have also included these parameters because these parameters are the basic parameters. Foundation we can call it as. Let's understand the parameters in India. Parameters in India. What is the first parameter? The first is providing adequate water supply. If a smart city is built, and government is building 100 smart cities across India, and the first they are concentrating on providing adequate water supply to the residents. We all know that every city is not having the proper drinking water facilities. Still today, in many of the cities, residents walk for a mile or so to get their water. As we have in the rural areas, some of the cities are also facing this problem. So, providing adequate water is one of the essential parameter, essential criteria. Next one, electric supply. Yes, it is required for a people to live. They need electricity. Electricity is not only required for the residents, in the sense it is required for the establishments which are there in the city, commercial establishments which are there, electricity is required for by them also, for them also. The next one is sanitation. In sanitation, proper drainage facilities, proper sewage conditions, including solid waste management, how to manage the waste we are producing, solid waste management, and that solid waste management is done thoroughly or purely on the scientific parameters or scientific criteria. Dumping, incineration, everything done on a scientific basis. Next one, urban mobility. In urban mobility, prominence or importance is given to urban public transport. Smart cities are encouraging people to travel in the public transport, not in our private vehicles. In urban mobility, mobility means communication, transportation. Urban mobility should be smooth. Transport infrastructure should be well developed. The kinds of the road we have in the urban mobility, in the sense, smooth roads. Nowadays, what kind of the roads we have? In some of the roads, it's more like a pothole road than a normal road, right? So even on that aspect, concentration is being given. Smooth roads, nice roads, concrete roads, and more usage of the public transport. Affordable housing, especially for the weaker section, especially for the poor. Affordable housing in the sense wherein everyone can purchase the land or the houses. Houses of the prices of the house will not skyrocket. That is affordable housing. And there are many projects or many schemes by the government of India. Housing for all. There are certain schemes which are introduced by the government of India. And the main concentration is on the poor, economically weaker section people. Robust IT connectivity and digitization. I said digitization, having a proper IT connection. Solutions is being found through technology. Everything smart management, smart water meters, smart electric meters are being introduced in smart city also. In the normal cities also this concept has been introduced. Smart water meters, smart electric meters. Good governance, especially e-governance and citizen participation. E-governance, electronic governance. We can find the solutions, grievances redressed through electronic mode. What is e-governance? For example, a locality is facing a water problem. That locality has not, water supply has been stopped for 4 to 5 days and the locality has not got the water. So what the residents do? They just type in their complaint and they may SMS it or they may mail it to the corporation office, something like this. And automatically we will get this reply also and the problem will be resolved. This is e-governance. We are not supposed to go to that office, register our complaint, write to the municipal commissioner or the person in charge. That is not there. Everything will be resolved or solved through e-governance. Next one is sustainable environment. What is sustainable development? Sustainable in the sense, development, the environment which we can hand over it to the next generation also, with that amount of the trees, that number of the trees, forest, which we can hand over to them. Environment which is sufficient for us also and for the coming generation also. It is same as on the lines of sustainable development. Next one is safety and security of the citizens, particularly of women, children and elderly. When e-governance is there, they have also introduced a concept called e-policing. when solutions are being found through technology, IT, then this can also be done with a click of a button. The police or this can, what to say, the police or the authorities can search our location. If any woman or children are or if any person is in distress, location can be traced and authorities can reach on time. So this is being done. E-policing is being done, is being introduced. And the next last priority will be on the health and education of the people, particularly on the health. If a city has proper drinking water facility, proper drainage conditions, proper sewage conditions, to an extent, problems related to the health can be solved. Such cities may not face many of the diseases like what I said, like dysentery, cholera, plague, which the people living in slum areas go through. Such may not be the case if facilities are available. So these are some of the parameters which Indian government is concentrating on in building their smart cities. So which are the smart cities in India? Kochi in Kerala, Ahmedabad in Gujarat, Aurangabad in Maharashtra, Manesar in Delhi NCR, Kushkera in Rajasthan, Krishnapattanam in Andhra, Ponneri in Tamil Nadu, Tumkur in Karnataka are some of the proposed smart cities in India. So these are the smart cities which are in their stage of development, and these are the cities which are chosen by the government of India to build on the smart city. So this was all about the future of urbanization. In future of urbanization, we have two concepts. One is concept of satellite city, satellite town, and the other one is concept of the smart city. Both these concepts in real life, in practically, can solve some of the problems faced by the urban areas. So here we complete our topic. Here we have completed this chapter. So in this chapter, the chapter was all about urbanization and the problems faced by the urban areas, and to certain extent the remedies which the government can give to these problems. So we will meet in our next class with a new chapter. Thank you.